This truly is amazing, though, because we talked about JFK yesterday, and we looked at this tweet from John Cipher. We looked at the tweet, and I was like surprised and delighted later after the stream when I go to check my phone, and I see none other than former CIA spook John Cipher has replied to me on Twitter. Like I could not believe it. It's so stupid. Like our whole future, you can get into like shitpost battles with actual like CIA agents. But like I just can't believe the audacity. I can't believe the audacity of John Cipher here. I'm gonna open that in a new tab. Yeah, we talked about this tweet yesterday. Like, just to say nothing of the fact that, like, John fucking Cipher, CIA agent, is like, what, people believe that the Kennedy assassination was the CIA? Ha, that's just Russian propaganda. And he's actually in the CIA. Like, he's not even just some random person that's downplaying it. He's, like, literally in the CIA, which I pointed out. You're literally in the CIA, John. John is going to run this up to his CSIS friend, Jim Cryptogram. He's almost certainly added this thread to your file and alerted your handler. Oh my goodness. But I couldn't believe this. Like, I just thought I was really not expecting John Cipher to respond to this tweet. And yet he did. Can we talk about how ridiculous these kinds of articles are, though? Like, what is this supposed to accomplish? Well, I guess, like, American liberals have been trained, basically, to think that, like, you can just say the word Russia, and it just completely exonerates anyone from having to have any, like, culpability for anything. That's the basic part of it. I don't even want to get into this too much, because I spent all day talking about JFK yesterday. It's to assure people who want to believe in the institutions that everything is okay. And, yesterday I was looking at that. In fact, I think some of the people that have been distracting me with this food talk, possibly some kind of Russian interference as well. I don't think we should rule that out. Like, we looked at the actual, like, documents from the CIA about debunking all these conspiracy theories as well. And about the tactics that people should use to ensure that, like, no one believes these kind of theories about the JFK assassination. And that was the fascinating thing about reading that yesterday, is when you can read this and then you understand all the ways that when people start making these arguments, they're just like parroting talking points that the CIA is deliberately, like, implanted. Do you believe the CIA, which had and continues to have their greasy tentacles and everything, killed JFK? Well, that's just the amazing thing. So you have John Cipher saying, like, oh, the tale can be traced to a Russian disinformation operation. And I say, you're literally in the CIA, John. And he says, so? And it's like, I don't think these guys are dumb. Seriously. Like, I do not think John Cipher is really this stupid. This is totally like an act, but it's the idea that, like, it's very brazen. It's very brazen to be like, how is it relevant that I used to work in the CIA? Literally saying, like, the CIA did nothing wrong, just pointing out that that's your former place of employment. Former places of employment. That in and of itself. But just like, John, any one of us can open a history book and we can look at the long, long history of political assassinations and destabilization efforts that the CIA has enthusiastically taken part in. Not just destabilization, but like creating or helping to create states within a state that then overthrow the democratically elected leadership of these countries as soon as the democratically elected leadership starts doing something that runs counter to American interests, according to them. Like we saw that in Brazil, we saw it in Indonesia, in South Korea and South Vietnam, during the Vietnam War when Vietnam was partitioned. It's like we all know, and John knows that we know. That's the fucked up thing. John Cipher knows that we know the long history of the CIA engaging in these kinds of destabilization efforts, overthrowing governments, assassinating political leaders. John knows that we know this. Like he's not stupid. But he certainly acts like he thinks we're stupid. Because it wasn't just me that he responded to. Right? It wasn't just me. This is amazing too. John, I don't know what John was thinking, replying to these tweets. He should have just walked away. John should probably just someone should take away John's phone here. But Abby from the Empire Files, I'm assuming it was Abby anyways. This is even more amazing than the response that he left to me. They say, as a CIA guy yourself, would you say assassinating a democratically elected political leader is out of character for the CIA? Look at this motherfucker. Oh, it's against the law. Against the law and insane. It's not really hard to find background. Coups are illegal. Assassinating people is illegal. Can you imagine the CIA participating in something illegal like that? Coups are illegal. It's against the law to do political assassinations in democratically elected political leaders. It's against the law. So, of course, the CIA would never do this. My theory is that Rob Rousseau is working for some organization I will not tell the name and is disguised as a switcher. It seems so obvious. Belly's hurting. I'm not a member of any of these intelligence agencies, nor an asset or anything like that. Okay? That's not true. Like, I spend all my time on here trying to convince people that these people are pure evil. Why would I do that? It makes no sense. Cypher and Rob rehearsed this. If I was in the CIA or one of these intelligence communities, I would be talking about how I would be saying China bad all day. That would be my main thing. That's what I would be talking about right now. But I literally say China good. I do the opposite of that. That's what an asset would say. Oh, shit. That's how they get me. Think, people, think. You see, the CIA is just another organization, Rob, and you're demonizing the many good folks that work there just doing their job. Stop being paranoid. It's just a government agency. If I used to work for the CDC, would you say I work for them for life? Absurd. The CIA is really just a bunch of nerds protecting us from foreign hackers and stuff. Come on. This is what these libs think, though. That's the fundamental thing that they think about the CIA. Oh, they might have done some bad stuff in the past. But overall, it's just filled with hardworking folks that want the best for the United States. Probably should have done this title a while back. Once again, I messed that up. And I'm not going to spend much longer on this because I'm still punting the thing that I've been wanting to talk about for 2 fucking days. John is really a victim of bullying by online bros. Really regrettable stuff. Why is he responding? Why is John Cipher responding to these fucking comments? That's what I want to know. Like he's like even if he's not technically in the CIA anymore. He works for Spycraft Entertainment and the Atlantic Council. Espionage-related storytelling, true fiction. I wonder what kind of... Shit, what's that? Close that. I'm sure they got their fingers in all kinds of stuff. They're probably working on that show with Office Jim. About how evil Venezuela is. Spycraft Entertainment is a global... What even is that show? I can't even remember. It's like that John Clancy thing. Spycraft Entertainment is a global production company run by former senior intelligence officers from the US and the UK and experienced Hollywood producers. By the way, don't remember folks, we're not inundated with propaganda like these other evil foreign authoritarian countries, right? Jack Ryan, yeah. John Spy, American Spy, something like that. Yeah. But no, we're not inundated with propaganda to the same extent that these, like, scary authoritarian countries are. No. We just have former spooks joining like entertainment companies to advise Netflix and other content creation conglomerates. But that's not propaganda. It doesn't count because there's this degree of separation. We help retired members of the intelligence community turn their ideas and intellectual property into world-class content, and we work closely with them to develop projects across a range of media, from podcasts to television series to feature films. We focus on true fiction, okay, emphasizing quality, authenticity, and great storytelling. Our network of ordinary people who have done extraordinary things, which is pretty much word for word what Office Jim said when he went and visited the CIA, right? He literally repeated that word for word when he was talking about how great the CIA is. Comprise innumerable untold tales that have the power to inform, inspire, and entertain audiences around the world. Here's the actual reality. True fiction that have the power to inform, inspire, and entertain audiences around the world. So here's their fantasy version of Venezuela. Here's the fantasy version. Here's their, if you want to use wrestling terms, their fantasy, this is the CIA with this Jack Ryan series. They're fantasy booking their Venezuela op. And we've seen now for 3 years they've been running this op in Venezuela to just disastrous results time and time again. Because in the fantasy booked version, we have woke girl boss Juan Guaido replacing the evil president, the evil dictatorial president of Venezuela.
¿Cuál es la mayor amenaza a nivel internacional?
Whoa. That is in Spanish. That is in Spanish.
You do this often? Kidnapping people of this.
Oh, this is season 1. God damn it.
What's the most major threat on the world stage? Venezuela is the single greatest resource of oil on the planet. So, why is this country in the midst of one of the greatest humanitarian crises in history?
¡Presidente Reyes! ¡Nos ha traicionado a todos!
Woke girl boss Guaido, there she is.
Secretly selling weapons to Venezuela?
It would fit a pattern.
It's time we stop.
I think Russia should be selling Venezuela weapons. I agree with that, actually. If that's what's going on, I think I support it.
This ends up in the news, it's just going to cause panic.
In nuclear Venezuela, you will not hear about in the news because we'll already be dead.
How much do you want to bet that good old our friend of the stream, John Cipher, has his dirty little fingerprints in this very TV show? I'm willing to bet that he's got something to do with this. Our friend John. His dirty little spook fingerprints are all over this.
business or pleasure, Jack?
I'm here for work.
What happened?
Reyes, look at me. Was his name ever mentioned?
You guys stay. You have no protection. Nobody's coming to save us.
We do this together. I can live with that.
This is what we call true fiction. And here's the reality. Okay, that's the fantasy booked Venezuela. That's not the reality.